Hello, I'm Charly and welcome to another episode of Book Talk. Today we're going to be discussing A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. So I decided, because I'm too obsessed with Patrick Ness, that I should review like all of his books. I'm not going to be reviewing more than this because I might reread it one day and then review it or something, but like it would have to be a discussion video and I want to wait till more people have read it because I can't really do a review of it because you kind of have to go into it not knowing anything at all, really. So I'm just going to review this one because I can actually talk about this one, and I'm going to try and do a pretty long non-spoiler section. I'll have a really small spoiler section, so I'm going to get started. So I'm going to start with a summary of A Monster Calls. It is the genre is a bit hard for me to say what the genre is. I'm going to say that it's a low fantasy / contemporary sort of book, because it has some fantastical elements, like the monster itself is a walking tree, so that's kind of fantastical, but you're not sure if it's in his mind or if it's actually there, so kind of contemporary kind of thing. So low fantasy, contemporary, and it is a young adult book, I'm pretty sure. And one thing I do want to say before I get into the summary is that Patrick Ness actually wrote this for another author. If you see on the cover, it says from an original idea by Siobhan Dowd. Siobhan Dowd actually came up with the idea for this. I'm not quite sure if she ever started writing it or how much of it she actually did get done, but she was sick with terminal cancer and she unfortunately passed away before she could finish this book. But I think it is really, really nice of Patrick Ness to have finished it for her. So if you do get this book, I really suggest reading the author's note. It just makes me love Patrick Ness even more, just that author's note. It's amazing. But now I'm going to get into the summary. So I've read this book twice. I read it first in July of 2013 and I reread it like pretty recently, and it follows a boy called Connor, and he's about 13, 14-ish, I'm not quite sure. And it basically follows him and his struggles within himself. The story starts off with Connor waking up at 12:07. He wakes up at 12:07 every night and has a nightmare or gets visited by a monster. And the monster is the yew tree in his backyard. And basically the monster, he's not sure why the monster has come, but the monster keeps saying that Connor has called him and that's why the monster came walking. But Connor doesn't remember ever calling for the monster or anything, and the monster basically says that he has 3 stories that he has to tell Connor, and then Connor has to tell the 4th story, and the 4th story is the truth. And basically this whole book, you don't know what the truth actually is, and there's this whole mystery element of what the truth is, and you think it's something terrible but you're also not sure. And the 3 stories that the monster tells are like moral lessons. That's what I really like about this book, is that it's like the point of the story is like to instill these messages and morals through the 3 stories that the monster tells. And the stories have a sense of like ancient tale kind of thing. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's like it kind of feels like a medieval kind of story when the monster's telling the stories, and the way the monster himself speaks just makes it seem like some ancient like mythological, I can't say the word, mythology kind of thing. I don't know, but I really like that, how it's doesn't just talk like anyone else, it talks like in a special way and everything. So Connor's mum is ill, and it follows Connor's struggles to deal with it and how he's dealing with it, and he's dealing with it in strange ways, and you think that might have something to do with why the monster comes walking. And Connor's grandma is involved with it, as well as his dad. His dad lives in America. This book is set in England, by the way. Patrick Ness's writing style is really what makes this book amazing. Like, obviously the illustrations and everything as well. There's illustrations in this book if you haven't seen already. And just Patrick Ness's writing style is amazing, and it's not extremely character or plot driven, it's just the messages that it instills. Because it's such a short book, it's about 200 pages long, and some of the illustrations in the book take up a full 2 pages, so you get through it really quickly. You can get through it in one sitting easily, and so because of that, it's not extremely character and plot driven. There aren't that many characters in this book. There's basically, the main characters would be Connor, the monster, Connor's grandma, and Connor's mum, and maybe Connor's dad, and the bully from Connor's school called Henry. Connor's grandma like scares me. Her house is like perfectly clean all the time, and I have trust issues with her because her house is just perfectly clean and it's scary. And yeah, and Connor's dad annoys me so much because he prioritizes his other family in America over Connor and his mum. Really love the character of Connor's mum. You kind of get the feeling that she knows what's going on with Connor, and you kind of, it hints at she knows something about the monster as well, just like slight hints, but you're never sure. And another thing that I really love is that you never know if the monster is real or not, because you don't know if Connor's dreaming or if it's actually happening, because sometimes there's little clues when he wakes up that the monster was there, like leaves on the ground, but then sometimes there isn't. So it's weird and you don't know. So that is all from the non-spoiler section. I think that was a really bad review. I kind of hoped it wouldn't be a bad review because like I reread it, but I hope that I kind of convinced you to read it. It is an amazing book and you won't be disappointed because it's only 200 pages long and it just gives you so many lessons, and oh, it's really amazing and beautiful, and I cried at the end. Like, yeah, I cried at the end, and I don't cry often, but I cry in every Patrick Ness book, so it's not really a surprise. So maybe you should go watch someone else's review and get a second opinion. But I love this book so much, and you need to read it. So bye for now. If you have not yet read A Monster Calls, and you should definitely read it and come back and discuss it a little bit with us. So bye for now. Bye. So now I'm going to get into some minor spoilers. I'm basically just going to talk about the ending and like a little bit about the monster. Did you guys think the monster was real or not? Because there was that whole thing with Henry when Connor seemed to get the strength of the tree, the monster, and he like hit Harry. Did I say Henry? I meant Harry, but no one saw that. But then one of the days, like one of the nights where he sees the monster in his sleep, he wakes up and there's like a tree stump growing out of the wood on the floor, and then there's like the pine cones on the ground. So I can't decide whether it's real or not, or if it's just like a metaphor for Connor's struggles and him trying to get through it, or if it's just a tool used to convey the messages. But I just really don't know whether to think it's real or not, because there was this like slight hint of some ancient stories. I don't know, that it seemed to be something ancient because of how he portrayed the stories, how he's like, I've come walking before, and I don't know. I can't decide. I don't have an answer for whether I think the monster was real or not, and that's what I love about Patrick Ness's books, is a lot of them are like that, where you're like, you're not sure if it's this or that, and some people hate that, but I really, really like that. Did you guys cry at the ending? I cried both times I read it. You kind of know, like, with these kinds of books, you kind of can guess that that's how it's going to end, but I still found it so sad, but also really happy that it was like, the last line was like, and by doing so, he could finally let her go. I'm not quite sure, let me just check. It was a beautiful ending, and oh, I just love it. What was it? He needed to, like, tell the truth, but then he's like, but not at this moment, the monster whispered, still close, not just yet. Connor held tightly onto his mother, and by doing so, he could finally let her go. So, he just, I don't know, that, like, this whole book, you kind of, towards the end, you think with the truth that he's actually going to tell his mum that he wanted it to be over and done with, but then it ends up him just waiting until it's over, and you're not sure if he ever does tell the truth as what the monster wants him to, or if that's just it. But I really love that ending. It was so beautiful, just so beautiful. So that's all I had to say for A Monster Calls. I don't know where my head is at today. I wanted to do a better review for you guys, but I don't know, I think I did kind of alright with this review. Let me know what you guys think. Did you love this book as much as me? Do you love this book? Did you not like this book? What did you rate this book? I obviously gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Forgot to say that before the spoily people left, sorry. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye! what the hell? This is not Monsters of Men. It would appear that Monsters of Men is here. I knew this was going to happen one day. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, let's do this again. No. No. I can't do this. Okay, it's time. It's time to focus myself, you know. So we're going to take a selfie. Come on. Oh, why does my camera take so long to focus? See, I don't only listen to metal. I listen to some daughter. God, you know, you just gotta leave me alone.